So today is a special day, and I hope all of you are having a great day. My name is Bruce, and this is my shirt. I love this shirt. It's our Vatican wear for the resident of Pennsylvania Avenue, and I hope all of you are doing well tonight. Good God, Janet, you look gorgeous tonight. Go up and fucking
I'm going to
t-shirt.
see the strippers.
Giggity. That's all I can like. I'm sorry.
I'm jiggly.
It's bad enough that like we're good friends. Occasionally bad thoughts enter. Doesn't help. The wife is like, if I was dead, would you ever try to date Janet? I'm like, shut up, stop it. And I'm like, stop.
Down, boy.
This is not good. That's how you wake up a demon. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, and she's like, you really are attracted to her. I'm like, of course. Who wouldn't be? She's beautiful. She's funny. She's funny. You understand that? And she's like, I get it. So anyway, hi chat. Janet, you look gorgeous tonight. We're going to probably focus on you a little bit, but
Thank you.
Janet is the epidist for tonight. She is the one that started this entire one. And she's like, you need to see the full Monty. I'm like, hi, baby girl. Also in the chat is our
Thank you for stopping in.
hold on, Hale. Our young friend from the mitten of the north, the peninsula of Michigan that points to the North Pole. Also on the Great White North, but not quite so cool as it should be, is the crafting gamer sitting in his hobby room. That lucky man. It's hot. Yeah, I swear I was like, yeah, I know, right? So this is an interesting comment. I doubt the lads will hold up as well today as they did then. I think you're right. I think this movie completely would blow away a modern audience or a modern performance of it.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's especially all the things that the men were dealing with in their lives, everyday lives. Everybody can, I think every person on the planet can understand where they were, in their mentality of, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where they are. I mean, they all lost their jobs. They all worked at the steel mill. One was their boss, and they're all out of jobs, and they're all trying to figure out a way to get a new one. And they're walking home that day, and they see a poster hanging on the wall, and it was the Chippendales or whatever. And they were talking about all the women going to see it, and they were spending 10 quid a person to go in. And they started thinking about it, and it was like, dang, that's 10,000 quid if we can,
rope them in.
Yeah, if we can sell enough tickets. So they were like, what if we could do it? They were like, well, can you dance? And so that's how it all started. And they were just trying to think of a way they could get some money in their pocket to pay off their debts while they're still trying to find a job. So I just thought it was great. I loved it when I first saw it. I loved it last night when we got to watch it together. And I know that it was really hard at the very beginning because it took a little while to get revved up, but they had to set out what the characters were all about and where their dire straits they were in. And there is a few issues that you wouldn't want to use this now in today's society about his son tagging along with him, but the fact that it's a boy and they were taking him with them to steal steel girders and do other things that they really shouldn't, the dad, because the thing is it was all about the character arc for the father because he was like immature, didn't want to know how to hold down a job, and he just was not a serious kind of guy. But the bonding that went between him and the son, when the son realized how much the dad loved him and how he was really trying, doing the best he could to be a good dad. And that was a good character arc for the son, too. So that whole family dynamic stuff, I really enjoyed, even though the son was in a position where he was hanging around with a bunch of guys that were going to strip. But the thing is, at least it wasn't women. I can say that. But this was a movie from 1997, and things were different. We viewed things a little different than we do today. I think we've learned a lot, especially parents with young children, about the little boy's age. What would you say he was? 8, 9 years old?
I'd say be close to 11.
11?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was a small kid until I was about 14 years old, and then I hit my growth hits.
Yeah, he was just adorable though, and they look like they could be son and dad to me. And the guy that played his best friend Dave, his whole character arc was really good too, because he was a married man that was worried that his wife was going to leave him because he didn't have a job and he was chubby. So he had two problems that a lot of men deal with. And to me, the way that they portrayed him in the movie, to me, was realistic for, him, going out to his little shed, sneaking candy bars and stuff, because he wanted to be on a diet, but he just couldn't do it. He just didn't have what he needed to be successful at it. And it's because he just didn't know how to deal with his problem. But the thing is, the wife wanted him. She talked about, what's going on, why don't you want to? And when he tried to make love to her that one night in the one scene when they're kissing and making out, she was getting into it, but he's the one that couldn't get past the fact that he's chubby. And she didn't care, because when you love someone, you can look past all those things because you love them. You love who they are. You don't love them just because they got a nice ass or they got a full head of hair or they got a belly, just like the women. A woman might be very attractive when you first marry her, skinny, a stick girl, because you're marrying her right out of high school, and then she starts to gain weight. She has a couple kids. She's got some stretch marks. Your body changes because of things that have altered it. When your stomach stretches out really big and then goes back 3 times or whatever amount of times, your stomach's never going to look the same as it did when you were 20. It's just not going to. It's impossible. Your boobs aren't going to look the same. Gravity starts working, all that stuff. Same thing for guys. You drink a few beers every night when you come home from work. That beer belly is going to start to grow. But the thing is, that's what time does. And they all had those problems. And then you had the older gentleman, the boss, who was the boss of all of them at the steel mill. And he was without a job, had been fired for 6 months, and he never told his wife because he was too embarrassed. So he'd get dressed every day, and she'd make him lunch and stuff, and he'd go to work. And she's using the credit card, going shopping, doing all this stuff. And he just didn't know how to deal with it. And in that one moment, you see him talking to his wife, and she's wanting to go on a vacation to go skiing, and he's wanting to tell her so bad, but he just couldn't. He just didn't have the balls. Just didn't have the balls to tell her. So, because he was too embarrassed. So I loved how they went from each one of the characters, and the other young man, the trumpet player from the band, and his mother being very ill.
Initially, when we met him, he was not in a good place.
Yeah, he was going to commit suicide. But they made it comical in a way, but the thing is, they tried to show you the desperation in each of them's lives and how each person dealt with the desperation of not having a job. And so many people, that's one of the reasons why I brought it up to watch it, is because I'd seen it. And all of you guys that came to watch it with me in Discord were all thinking it was going to be like Magic Mike. And I said, no, this is nothing like what you guys are thinking it's going to be. Yes, they do strip at the very, very end for the full Monty to make that dough that they need, and their characters all developed. They arced. They achieved a goal in their life to show that they could follow through. They could plan something and work side by side and accomplish something. And I just love that. I just love for this movie, and especially that it's a British movie too. We hadn't done one like that, so I thought it was great. I just loved this movie. So what did you think about some of the characters? And I know that you weren't thrilled at first to watch it.
It's definitely a movie that my fucking sound is off right now. It's not off. It's just not right to me. and I'm seeing some problems here. Let me reboot this. I'll come right back. Hold on.
But if any of you hadn't seen this movie and you're a guy, it's not what you think it is. It's not a movie about men stripping in front of each other and things like that. The whole thing is a story about best friends, and then as they work through some problems they have because of their job loss and their family problems with their wife or their child or some of their other friends or their parents, and paying their bills and having things repossessed, all those things, or hating their bodies. All those things are all brought up in this movie. And I really liked it because I think it really does show the inner workings of men and how men hang out together. There's one scene that I really liked, and it was where the one older gentleman, I think he's in his like 50s, late 50s, something like that. He's the one that's married and didn't tell his wife that he hasn't had a job in 6 months, and they're going farther and farther in debt, and she's charging like crazy buying stuff, and he's having a really hard time not knowing. He just knows everything's about to collapse and he doesn't know what he's going to do about it. So that's the reason why he decides that he wants to go ahead and try to strip for one night to try to make $1,000 to help pay some of their bills. And the funny thing is that he's in the house and they're all decided, okay, we have to strip in front of each other so we can feel more comfortable, because when we see each other, when we're on stage stripping, we've got to be able to strip in front of other people and not act like we don't know what we're doing because we're ruining the show. So they all start taking off their clothes down to their underwear, and somebody knocks on the door, and so he rushes and tries to put his clothes back on. The other ones hide. So all of a sudden, these guys come in and they start to go take his TV and repossess it. And he's like, why do you have to take my stuff or whatever? And then all of a sudden, all these guys in underwear come out of the other room and they're like, put it back down. So I just love that scene because the men stood up for their friend, even though they were wearing underwear. So that showed me that they cared more about their friend than they did about being embarrassed and being seen by other men in their underwear. I thought that was just really good to me. I liked it.
The first half of the movie is very boring as hell for me. I understand you live in a place that's seen better days. I'm from Decatur, Illinois. Do you want to get in my car and I'll drive you 1,000 miles to a place that is one empty building after another in the industrial districts, commercial districts? You can see our abandoned mall in Forsyth. I can get you a guided tour. And at the end of the day, we're going to have a choice between corn dogs and 7-Eleven gas station food. You want that? Yeah. So I don't go to Illinois much. I try to stay away from it. No offense for those of you that live there, but I want to wall it off and fill it with water. That's where I was born. So a place can just eat a dick. But the entire movie, it felt too close to my existence. And for $2, Mr. Hungar, the Starvarian, for $2 says, I love this movie.
It is a good movie, and it talks about them stripping and stuff, but the movie is not a stripper movie. And that's what I tried to explain to people. It's about a bunch of guys bonding over all losing their jobs and trying to get new work and make a few dollars to help get caught up. One wants to get the money so he can keep his kid because he was about to lose any rights to his child because he couldn't pay the bills. And then another guy was losing everything. He was losing his house, everything he owned, and he knew his wife was probably going to leave him. So each of them had different reasons why they wanted to join the stripper team. And when they did the whole thing with the in the warehouse where they were interviewing people to be on the stripper team, and they had the black gentleman come in hoarse. All that scene was just really, really good. I thought it was funny. And then they got the other guy that supposedly when he took down his pants and they're like, can you dance? And he was like, no. And he goes, well, can you do this? No. Well, can you do that? And he was like, no. And he goes, well, what can you do? So he goes, well, I got this. And he undid his pants and dropped his pants, and all of them were like, because he must have been hung like a horse. I mean, I don't know.
These guys have that. It's a combination of envy and I feel for you, bro.
I just thought it was funny as heck. And the kid, too, the little boy's expression when he saw the guy, it was just, I just thought it was very well done and very tasteful, considering what this whole movie was supposed to be about. You didn't see anything besides their bare butts. You saw their bare butts at the very, very end of the movie. But besides that, the love scene that he had with his wife, even the stuff that was in the bathroom, and at the club, there wasn't anything nasty. It didn't have, you didn't have to see any nasty shit. You saw the guys running around when the cops came in, when they were doing their dress rehearsal in front of the niece and the mother and the sister and everyone that was all on the couch to watch it when they were performing. Oh my God, it was so good. They did a good job at being awkward, portraying like they were awkward in front of people, not knowing, like kind of robotic and stuff. It was good. I thought they did a really, really good job. Very believable for supposedly like taking, like I said, all of you guys, my friends that I play, my role-playing games with and stuff, to take you guys and stand you up there and say, okay, here's your G-strings, put these on, and we're going to do a routine. We're going to make a show for tonight only. And you're going to do the full Monty, which means you're going to go all the way down to the buff. You're going to show it all. You're going to show everything you got. And would you be able to do it if you thought you could make some money doing it for one time, just once, without being drunk off your ass where you couldn't even, do anything. So basically that's what it was. But you guys aren't desperate enough. But just like we were always talking about on the shit show, if you get desperate enough, you can do things you wouldn't think you would ever be able to do. So that's why I really like this movie, because it's very believable when it comes to certain things about what choices you make.
If you're without hope, if you're at a point where you are having trouble, first off, reach out to somebody who's been in your shoes. There's plenty of us mentors around that have been at a point where we're like, fuck, I'm at a point where I can either work at a gas station or I'm at Walmart as a janitor.
Uh-huh.
What would I do? And I've been there. So if you're like in that same spot and you're wanting to know how you can get to where you can be comfortable, I can point in a direction. You may not like it. It involves work. It involves you having to do stuff. But next week I start my new gig and I'm very happy about it. I'm leaving my current job, which is not a bad place, but my boss and I, we kind of disagree on some things, and that's okay. That's how men are. I found a place willing to pay me a lot more. So that's just how it is.
But did you see what Flatey, I think it was, it was Travis, said this sounds like a ladies' movie. It really isn't. Mm-hmm. It really is not. Yeah. It's not just for women. It's more for guys, really. It's a bonding movie for men.
I really think it is a bonding movie for men, but it doesn't have the same amount of charisma as, say, another great bonding movie. The what was that Greg Daniels film we watched? The Herb Presnell and Greg Daniels, and they were up in the Uper.
The one about the dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
The something Espinada or something. Moonlight Espinada.
Moonlight and Escanaba.
Yeah, that was a good one too. But see, that had a lot of the same aspects in it about problems in their families, in their life, insecurities, all the same type of thing. Except their goal wasn't to strip. One didn't want to give up the right to be able to get a deer so that his brother could get one. You see. Yeah. So it was a manly thing, it was about competing as men. And this wasn't. This was more of letting your manliness down just a little bit so you can go out there and make $1,000, basically, to demonetize yourself by being able to take your clothes off in front of a bunch of women. Mm-hmm. And I just loved it, especially when the one guy brought him all those thongs. It passed them out so they could all wear them. They're like, wow, they're looking at it because it's just a string. And it's you're only going to wear it for a few seconds, but they needed something that they could take off really quickly. And the one scene, which I thought was really humiliating, but it was needed to be done, was where the young boy's dad is sitting there and he's pulling the seams out of the pants, right?
Mhm.
And they're going, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, all those guys on Chippendales, they take this out and then they put Velcro in so that when you pull on it, it comes off really fast, like that." Okay. And they're like, "Wow, you're really handy. When did you learn to sew?" And the son wanted to diss his dad a little bit because he was mad with him. And he said, "In prison," you know. So you had the son dissing the dad over and over again about not wanting to eat the food, not wanting to stay there, sneaking out. He was doing all these things to not be with his dad, to piss his dad off, basically, because he was mad at him because his dad didn't have a job. His dad didn't have a nice apartment. You know, he was run down, all these things. So it showed the brattiness of the little boy, but also as he matures a little bit, as he watches the effort his father's trying to make this money so that he doesn't lose custody. See? So I don't know. I just loved it. I thought that all of that was really, really good. You can see, but what am I never supposed to be able to pick any movies? I mean, if nobody's going to want to watch anything I pick.
Bonding over 80s action movies. Janet, you're good.
Well, okay, I'm just saying, you know, I can't help it. Just like when I picked Lars and the Real Girl, it wasn't specifically because it was about a guy who pretends that his sex doll is his girlfriend. It wasn't really that. It was comical because of it.
One half rung above somebody who says, "I identify as," and I'm like, I'll play your little game while I'm in this role-playing shop. When I leave here, I'm back in the real world and I'm thinking about mortgages, percentage points, and how to get my credit rating up. I've got to get another $7.50 to this credit card and I'll be fine. You know, that's where my head goes when I'm not playing with this shit. And by the way, you asked me before I had to eject and reset my sound.
Uh-huh.
I have to put this out there. Give me a G-string and I will dance for you, Miss Janet, says
yeah, but I thought it was great, especially that one scene where Dave is with his wife and he walks in and she had found that G-string in the drawer, right? And immediately any woman who's got a boyfriend or a husband that finds a G-string that doesn't belong to her is going to automatically think that he's cheating. That's just normal. So any man, don't have that, you know, like in the other movie Overboard when she found the underwear of her own, she didn't remember, in the glove box of the truck.
Yeah.
So you immediately get mad because you belong to us. You know, you're ours. You're our property, just like you would get upset with her if you found a man's underwear or something, or a tie or something like that, because you don't want someone sharing your merchandise or borrowing it for a short period of time. So when she found that, she was heartbroken, especially since she'd been doing through the movie. You'd seen her talking to her girlfriends about how he's not, they're not, having sex. He's distant. He's not spending the time when he's not doing the things that he was before for some reason. And it's because he'd put on weight. Okay. And he was embarrassed, but he wasn't telling her, honey, I need to lose weight. Maybe they would have went on a diet together. There's a lot of things that could have happened.
The last thing a guy wants to feel is this fat gut slapping against her. If she's got a slender stomach, that's even worse. But
the thing is, we don't think about stuff like that.
Women's
believe it or not,
are incubators and they get torn up to hell. And if a woman can get back down to within one size of her pre-baby weight, that's great. Most men don't give a shit. We really don't. Like, oh, you.
So why do you think we care so much about it? See, that's what you guys got to understand, is the thought process that you have is almost the same as us. Just like I said, women in the women's bathroom, we talk about guys just like guys do about women. Okay, you may not think we do, but we do. We're like, damn, he had a nice ass, shit like that. You guys do the same shit. I know, I'm a tomboy. Okay, I have lots of guy friends, and I've hung with women. So I'm telling you, they do the same shit. So we're really not that much different about things that we think about, especially when it comes to sex, things like that. We want it. We want sex. I mean, we don't walk around probably not every 5 minutes going, oh God, I'm horny. We don't think about it because we got a lot of things to do.
That way than guys. I will say that. Like,
okay, because we got to clean, we got to cook, we got errands to do. So we have to fit it in, but we're also thinking we can multitask. Men seem to be
I
like,
know women that bounce their fucking thigh on the seam while they're cooking, standing up, and they stimulate the bean. Okay, just how it
I'm
works.
just saying, women, we know what we want, just like men do. Okay.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's just awkwardness, and we don't know, especially when you're in love with someone or you want to be with someone, you have a harder time sharing your feelings. I don't know why that is. It's stupid, but we do it. Okay. And the scene where he walks in and she's crying and she's mad and she goes over and he's sitting on the bed and she starts just slapping the shit out of him because she is so angry with him, and he grabs her and he tells her, it's for me, they're mine. And she's like, what? And she, at first she doesn't believe him, she thinks he's lying, but then he says, we want to be strippers. Okay. And then once that comes out and she realizes that he wanted to be a stripper, but he couldn't do it. He said, I couldn't do it, could I? And she goes, what do you mean? Why not? And he goes, because of what I look like. And he goes, who would want to see this dance? And she said, I do. And that gave him the confidence to realize that, she doesn't even notice that. That's not what she loves about him. She loves him for everything about him, not just whether he's got a tubby or not. She loves him because he's kind, he's sweet, and he's romantic, and he's a good lover, he's a good kisser. All the different things all combined is what makes him what he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm pointing to Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, okay, yeah,
very well.
But the thing is that helped him remember through the whole movie, he was struggling because he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to be a stripper because he felt like he would be terrible at it and everybody would make fun of him because he was chubby. But when he went out there, she enjoyed it, and her friends that were out there. And then even the one character at that had the son whose ex-wife was out there, and he goes, she's out there too, the mother of his son. And he said, yeah, Dad, the boyfriend didn't get to come because she said it was ladies only. So he was going to get his ex-wife all to himself, and she was going to get to see him do something she'd never thought in her lifetime that he would ever do. So, all those little things I thought were great.
I got to agree with Six Nations here. The poor kid's starving for a quote unquote family. He wants a normal fucking family. His dad, pretty much a boring louse. They're stealing steel out of the fucking mill at the start of the film. That's what they're doing. They're stealing.
That's where they used to work. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so mom is just a little too overprotective and overbearing. And stepdad, he's just a dick. Any actor in that guy's place, and it would have not changed a thing. And a lot of us that have had relations, and then somebody comes over after you've donated your fucking seed, after all that happens, you have somebody else there raising your kid, and you want to ask them if you work with them or if you are there, in private or among other men, especially if you're feeling froggy. You're like, so how's your wife and my kids? You want to ask him shit like that. But that guy just seemed like he was a bit of a bully. And the main character, God bless him, but he's like a shrimp. He's like a little dude.
He's tiny. He probably weighed 120 pounds, if that. Yeah.
He was a slender little shit. Mm-hmm. But I felt bad for the kid, most of all, in this movie. More than anything else, I felt bad for the kid. Also, our buddy, Grumpy Old Ninja Kintaro, something that doesn't belong to me, but another member of my end of humanity shows up in my bedroom. It'd be upsetting. I would ask before going full hockey mask mode. Yeah, I get it. I completely get that. I really didn't like this movie that much. It was the first half of the film. I finished Goth. Mm-hmm. I finished My Dark.
Yeah, I know.
And I mean, it's nothing against the film, really. Just not my typical thing. And it's a fine movie. Just not a movie for Bruce. Yeah, and so this is what I did last night. I got this guy taken care of. We're going to be doing a little bit of detail work tonight, but I got 95% of this film. 95% of the film I spent painting this guy up and trying to get the magma to radiate off the scales, off the underside of the scales. I tried getting that feeling so much. I might redo the frocking here and get rid of the rock and get rid of the gravel, but I might leave that too. I don't know. This is a very good miniature, and I've posted the link in a lot of places. I'll get this for you, and yeah, if you guys want this dragon for yourself, so you can work on it for you, and I recommend everybody be a hobby painter. There it is. That's where you go get Goth, and he's only $29.99 in United States dollars. I don't know about metric or Canadistan money, but that's what you got. And I went with a little bit of a different paint scheme. He's supposed to be, I guess, a blue dragon, but I didn't really see that when I started playing with him, and I started looking at it, and I really wanted to have a good magma style dragon, so that was the scheme I went with. That was what I did last night for the first half of the movie. And I really liked the second half of the film. As the movie started going, and like, oh, we have momentum, and now the characters are out. Now everybody's here. We can do something now. Like, we actually have a plot, and we put things together.
Yeah, once they got the group together and they got the other guys that were interested in dancing from the steel mill collection of people, that's when the movie started to pick up pace, I think. And they'd already laid down why these gentlemen were wanting to do this in the first place. I thought they did an excellent job, considering they only spent like what, $3.5 million to make the movie, and the movie brought in $257.9 million.
Yeah,
and this was in 1997.
This is a good movie for Britain or for Scotland.
Yeah, it did really well. It did really well. It was a very good story.
Very interesting that it did so well. Not a surprise. I didn't really, quote unquote, enjoy it that much, but I really felt this movie had a lot of heart towards the end, as everything's kind of falling apart, and we don't know if we're going to see this full Monty show or not.
Yeah, because you had one character that didn't want to do it because he was chubby, and then you had the other character who decided not to do it at the end when he was trying to, remember, he had a son, and he was going around, and he went to that one gentleman that owned that big club warehouse type thing, and he sold alcohol. And he was asking if they could rent the place out, and he was like, well, I need money up front, and I need this, and he said, I don't have any. So he figured he wasn't going to do it. But then when they got arrested because they were stripping in that one little thing in front of the aunt and the mom and the niece and all of them, okay, that group that the one gentleman had brought in, the cops, raided the place, and they took the little boy from him because he was an underage kid, and they were doing like stripping, whatever. And so they were all embarrassed, but the cops came in, and that's when they had confiscated the warehouse's videotapes. So they got to watch it and see that what they were doing, because they wouldn't tell them. They said they were rubbing pipes or whatever, and they said, who rubs pipes in the buff? I just thought it was really good. The look of all the police officers that were standing around watching the video, and then the one guy, the dance instructor, says, "See, you're always early. You're always too fast. You're always ahead." He's always saying that to him. And I just thought the whole scene was really, really good. And that after that happened, that's when everybody in the town started talking about them stripping, but all of them had decided they weren't going to do it, and they all went back to trying to find jobs. So you had the one guy go to the bank or go to the unemployment office, and he's in line, and he's like, and she said, well, have you had any work, paid or unpaid, since this date? And he went, no. And she said, that's not what I heard, because she knew that he was wanting to strip, and she was interested. Yeah, I'd like to see you strip. That type of stuff. So I just thought it was really cute that all the different people were, the women were coming up and saying, so you're going to strip? And, what sets you apart from the Chippendales? And they said, because we're going to go full Monty. And that's when the word of mouth started going around. We need to sign up and watch these guys, because they're going to actually take it all off. And it doesn't matter. The whole thing isn't so much what you get afterward. Because when you go in, women go in, it's not the same as the women that strip in the strip bars, because they're usually almost completely naked already when they come out and dance on the pole. The strippers for men is they come out, they play a really good song, and they're wearing cool outfits like cops, mostly uniforms, because women love men in uniform. So they'll be like police officers.
It's all mental.
That's what I said. It's all mental. It's what we're whipping up in our imagination, thinking about later.
I'm going to give you a hint to life here. If you've got a significant other, doesn't matter, wife, girlfriend, whatever, you together, you live together, you together, sometime surprise an RP session on her. And I don't mean break out your miniatures and dice, although that would be great if my wife got into that shit, right? But no, she hasn't. Anyway, what you do is you come home and you have on an impersonation cop badge, a fake cop jacket, and you put some cuffs on the wife, and then you cuff yourself to her, and you have fun.
Mm-hmm. Or
like that.
Underwear. Get some edible underwear and some edible finger paints, and dress up as a, one of those guys with a little French hat and his little thing with the finger paints on it, and you make some art that's edible. Stuff like that. I mean, put a little spice in it. And, you can be a blonde one night, a redhead, brunette, long hair, short hair, bald, whatever you want.
Demographic for me to fully get this out to the world, but ladies, it's okay to go buy about 5 or 6 wigs, because there will be a point where you had enough of yourself. But I could go by my middle name, and you could fuck her in the ass or whatever, and you can just have fun with it, and you should.
Be someone for one night, be a fantasy. Hey, I got a great fantasy. This is a really good one. If you want to try something new, is that the man will go to a bar, wherever it is, and not a bar that you normally go to. Go to a bar that you picked out. No one else knows you, right? And have him sit down at the bar, or find a place that he likes, that he feels comfortable with a good, strong chair. Then she comes in a long jacket or whatever, with nothing on underneath, maybe just underwear and heels, or stockings or whatever, or maybe a bustier, who knows, whatever you feel comfortable with. Go in and walk around, and then just walk right up to this gentleman that that no one else knows they just saw him drinking a drink. You walk up to him, and then you just sit on his lap, or whatever you want to do, because sometimes being in public with a little risqueness makes it really good. So when you get up and leave, they're all going to say, damn, what a lucky guy. That's all they're going to be thinking about. But everyone's going to notice it. And go home, and who knows what can happen. But the thing is, it's fantasy. Role-playing is a good thing for any relationship. But the thing is, it's like sampling something different, but you're not. It's all imagination.
Yeah.
So
it's a silly game.
You never know what you're missing until you try it, right?
Good night, Mr. Hungar. I hope you have a great evening. Get some rest, my friend.
Thank you for coming. Bye.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's what I loved about this movie. That this movie gave you a little spark of what you could achieve if you just put your mind to it and work together and get something done.
See, I think the movie hits on a couple notes. I think the main thing is that, like, sometimes for you to really succeed, you have to go out and do something you would never have done before, ever. And you've got to, like, completely just invent, like, the success you want to be. And you're not lying about it, but you're just trying to approach it from the success side first. I'm trying to reverse engineer my way to where I can make this much money. And I need to make that much money so I can get these items taken care of and this retirement secured. And then I can have this little stupid dog, because I want a dog.
Yes.
And that's you start planning things, but you got to plan from success first. Don't plan from, I'm in this hole. How'd I get here? Well, fucker, you dug yourself here every day for the past 3 years. Do you want to see the shovel you used? I'll show you.
Well, the thing is,
And
Is everyone makes mistakes.
well, but the thing
Everyone.
is that a lot of people, they will do something and they will hurt themselves by getting something they wanted, and what it ends up doing is owning them. And so every night they come home and they just mindlessly watch TV, or they get into like, an hour and a half porn, and or
Right.
eat. Yeah. And they build their own prison.
Drink.
What are you saying? So
So what I'm saying is, it's easy to get into a habit,
yeah,
but you can get into good habits just as easy
out of that.
as you can get into bad habits. Like me, when I go 4 days without working out, my knee starts to hurt, or
Mhm.
things like that, because I hurt my knee when I was 16. I broke the clutch off of a motorcycle on my knee, and ever since then, my knee hurts, even when I was really young. But as I've gotten older, my knee would ache more and more, especially for long drives, because I drive a lot for my job. And, after driving for 10 hours, your knee just really hurts. So I try to, work on the elliptical, do low impact workouts, but it's really made a difference. It really does make a difference. But the more you do it, you feel good. You realize, man, I got more energy. You just feel better, and then it becomes a habit. You just like, oh, I got to go work out. It just pops in your head, and you remember it. And plus, I like going to the gym now. I have stuff here at home, but it's boring. it's no fun to have no one around. So it's nice sometimes to have people around when you work out.
Before it rains, my aches start up, Jeremy. It's just how it is. And we have a celebrity in chat. Bear, the Gen X GM, says,
Oh, hi, Bear.
Who there? Who there? I like that guy. I'm so proud of him.
He's fun.
No, he just hit a massive piece on his heroic role playing game. They just hit 107%, 106%. So this is amazing, and I'm really proud of this guy. He's just another one of us, but he's put his pen to work and he started doing the thing.
He followed through.
Yeah,
he followed through. So
And
you are finally doing that with your game.
Yeah,
by getting people to play it.
So this he's back. I backed it only at the $50 level right now, but this is 106% funded. That's great. That is so freaking great. And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, let me post this because this is going. I hope this game reinvents the superhero RPG because it should. I've started to look at it. It looks really good. It reminds me of the 90s table sessions with my friend Cecil and all of his comic books and his live-in roommate Mike. That's a situation that kind of could get weird, but it was very interesting. I'll just say that. He starts going around the room. Thank you, sir. We're very proud of you, Bear. Keep it up, and it's okay if you listen, Bear. We're men. It's okay if you fuck up. Just get up, keep doing stuff. Keep doing stuff. That's all there is. So, yeah, the old injuries, they come back to haunt you on a daily basis. It's amazing. This movie just kind of shows you that these guys got out of their comfort zone and they went and did something they would have never done. Their lives probably were broadened or at least given a little bit more exposure, not just punningly, but they probably got a chance to actually become somebody. For at least 2 weeks in town, people were like, I can't believe that guy showed his dick the whole party. He showed his dick the whole auditorium, and it was nothing but women.
Well, honestly, he seemed like he'd done it a few times. You know what I mean? He didn't seem shy at all, but it could have just been his personality.
Yeah.
Some people they don't have a problem showing their bodies. Other people may seem very outgoing, and then they're like, I can't do it. That whole thing. So everybody's different, but that's what's good about the movie. It shows the bonding between the guys from losing their jobs. They had that in common. They were all guys. They had that in common. And the fact that they all wanted to make a few dollars. So they worked a little harder to work together to be able to achieve this goal. And they listened to each other, like when the dance instructor was trying to tell them to do this, that, and the other to make a straight line, right? And then they couldn't do it. They just kept stumbling and falling, and they took the belt off and were slapping each other. And, it was just so uncoordinated. And then the one, Dave says something, and then the horse says something. Hey, why don't we try it this way? And then the dance instructor's like going, what? And he hears it. He goes, well, try it and see what happens. And then he does this, and then they right in a straight line. They were able to do it. So sometimes hearing it from someone else, or the way that another person might say it, is enough to have it snap in someone's head, and then everybody understands what's going on. So I don't know. It just I just like the way they work together, and the way that they were able to achieve their goals through their friendships too. So like when the young man from the band's mother died, and that's when they decided to go to the services, So they were still following through his friendship, after they saved the one guy's life, because he was ready to end it all because his life was so bad. So even though their life sucked, his life was worse. So it can always be worse than what you really think it is, because
there's a lot of times whenever you're going through things, you don't really know what's going on in other people's lives, but you'll have to persevere. You'll have to do your best to beat whatever demon is trying to beat you at chess that day. But it's noticed by your friends. Your efforts are noticed by your friends, and they will be impressed with you just for trying something, just for putting that effort in to not let it eat you alive. And that's something that so many people fail to connect. They don't understand. Like when you are facing something that is going to crush you, and you're not really wavering from it. In fact, you're kind of holding fast to your beliefs and your convictions, and you're not letting it get the better of you. I mean, it's kicking your ass. It's wiping the floor with you. But you get up every time and you're like, I'm not going to let you fucking beat me. And you keep doing that. Your friends will see that you're putting effort in where a lot of other people with less pain tolerance, with less dignity, they would roll up the carpet, they would pack the furniture, and they'd be like, okay, I guess I'm beaten here. And they look at you and they're like, I can't believe you did that. I had a lot of friends that they didn't think I would move to Texas. And, the first year it sucked. Like it felt like I was back in my 20s again. And in your 20s, everything sucks because you're low money, you don't have a lot of options. And I was putting my life together. I was working at a call center, not really doing well. And I wasn't being respected by the call center because I kept getting this assignment to sell this crap that was just a bunk product. And God bless them, they're still open after so many years, but I don't know how. But they sell internet advertising, which has shitty SEO, and I don't see how they still have a business. But I went and I decided one day that I wasn't going to be broke anymore, and so I just kind of asked around, and I said, I'm in Corpus now. I'm new here, and a friend of mine said, well, what do you got? I said, what do you mean? She's like, what do you do? And I'm like, I can do a lot of things. She's like, can you park a truck? I said, yeah, I've got a CDL. She's like, what? And I'm like, I've got an A-class CDL. What do you mean? She says, what the fuck are you still doing here? And she just drives me down Refinery Row. And then my cousin heard about this because she tweeted about it. And she's like, don't let him apply. And I'm getting ready to go apply at one of the big plants there. And they regularly shut down for, 30 days or 6 weeks. And, you're kind of sucking for 6 weeks. You're not making a check. And my cousin's like, no. My company wants to hire you. And I'm like, what? And she's like, you've got a CDL. I should have asked you this. You could be making $3,000 every 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm out. I'm going to go apply right now. And later on that day, I went and saw the VEP, the future VEP of fracking for South Texas, and I got a job, and I started doing that. And my friends in Illinois thought I was a loser. They're like, Bruce left here to become a fucking call center guy in Corpus Christi, and his life still sucks. He just sleeps on a couch now. No dog, no nothing. He does have his game on Saturdays. And finally, it took me being absolutely unhealthy and just ready to, like, what the fuck is there to do? Because I'm sitting for way too many hours, and I know this isn't healthy. I know that at the end of the day, at the end of my life, I'm going to be looked at like, you were a fat fuck and you did nothing to change it. You just took a job where you sat all day. And then my cousin, she says, get over here, we'll hire you. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, I've been wanting to talk to you about this. And then I got on with C&J Energy Services, and I was up for, many nights of 20 hours and 18-hour nights, a lot of them breaking many, many traffic laws, driving a truck down little tiny Texas roads, and then telling really bad stories later on of things that happened with women of the night and things like that, because you get paid too much money and you're like, oh, well, I guess I can afford a hooker now. And you have stupid ideas like that. But I had to go and hit bottom. And that's what it was for me. Like, there's other people I know, they love working call centers. They do really well with that. And they have a resume of like call center work for 25 years. There's a lot of people I know that do really well with that. Or at least they are comfortable enough to where it's a job that they can go into every day for 8 hours and go home and voraciously rip apart a project of theirs and come out successful. And one of those guys is in chat, or was in chat, and that would be this guy right here. He's done a lot of good work over the phone for many years. There's nothing wrong with that. He brings a dignity. He brings a real dignity to his work. But even more so, he brings a real dignity to the friends he brings around him. And there's places out there on the web that, like, you can get swamped with negativity, but Bear and Mages and a lot of people, there's a lot of guys out there that, if you need to talk, like, they're there to help you. They're there to make sure that you don't fucking do something stupid, like, say, paint the ceiling like Kurt Cobain. You don't want to do that. Life isn't that bad. It's not, life sucks. It's hard, but don't take life like a dick. You've still got tomorrow. You've still got some things. So
that's part of what to me, that was one of the things that I felt from the movie was important. It showed the actual friendships between all of them, even though they all had different problems in their lives. They all had one thing. They all had lost their jobs, and they all needed a job. So they used that to work together. And that one scene that I was giggling, I know I giggled a lot through it because it was just, to me, it was just so cute. I really liked it. Was when they were all decided, screw it, we're not going to get to do the stripping thing. We got to get back to the grindstone. And they're all at the unemployment office, standing in line. And then the music comes on, hot stuff. And then he looks over, Gads looks over at the rest of the guys, and they're all doing shaking their shoulder and their leg, and they start doing all the dance moves and stuff that they've been practicing. And it was just so cute because you can't help but have stuff like that happen when you practice. Just like I said, it becomes a habit. So now from them on, they're always going to, every time they hear certain songs, they're going to start want to dance to it, simply because of the power it had on them now, because of their bonding. They're bonding with the music and with each other and learning something new together. To me, I just like that a lot. I can see so many men that it doesn't have to be dancing to learn how to strip or whatever for one night. It can be sports, it can be fishing, it can be hunting, it can be so many things. But it's important for men to have friends and to have things that you do to release your pent up problems. You got to be able to relax. Everyone needs it. Bowling, be on a bowling league, go to the movies, go to dinner and then a movie, go boating, go skiing, go hiking, hunting, do something. It's just not good for you. Just go home every day and just sit there. And you know what? It doesn't cost anything to go walking. It doesn't cost anything to just to go hiking or go bike riding or whatever it is you decide to do. There's plenty of things you can do that's good for you to get fresh air and to get out in the beauty of the world that God made for us, and hang out with your friends around a campfire. You can just build a bonfire in your backyard, sit around, turn on some tunes, have a couple beers, eat some hot dogs or whatever, and just talk about bullshit that people you don't like, what's going on in the news, whatever, sports teams, how shitty they are, whatever it is, just something to get you away from the grind of your job or not having a job. What are you going to do next week? Where can you go? Have you heard anything? All that stuff. And it's important. But if you don't talk to anybody, nobody knows, because people can't read minds. And see, that's the thing I talk about a lot is communication. You need to be able to talk. Texting is not talking. So many people get pissed off over text because they can't understand what they're saying, or it comes across as flat or as angry when it's not, or you misspell something and they go, what the hell are they saying to me? I hate that. So
Bear says just go play some RPGs. And I put a link in the chat. I hope.
Yeah, I love that too. I do it.
This link is a portal to a place where there's a bunch of people that they want to spend quality time with you. And if you want to be heroic, this is Bear's channel. I should have added this earlier, but I put Bear up on a pedestal. I know he's just like us. He makes mistakes too, but this is his time to shine. I want the guy to get the recognition for putting up a really good Kickstarter, and I can't wait to see the campaign book and the core rules, and I want to see his home city. I can't wait to see what he has for us. And his Discord has places in it that it feels like a place where you go and you kind of get your happiness back. My Discord, if you need titties, there's titties. There's angry memes and political talk, and then there's Calvin Ani making amazing miniature pictures. But then you've got other Discords which they're focused a little different. Bear's is Bear's got a good place. He's got a good place. So if you don't know Bear, click in here, go say hi. What do you mean you don't know where? It's in my Discord. Hold on.
I've been in it.
Not as a participant.
No, not as a posting. No. Just I went in there just to see what it was, and I won't go in there. It's a guy's area.
Here's Bear's happy location. And gotta have a little Discords I pay attention to. Okay. Come on. Click in. Thank you very much. All right. So if you want to see the boobs,
you're not going in it, are you?
No. I want to keep my Rumble.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Wait, where did I put it at? Sexy girls right here. And it's even got the age restricted tag there. So for all you that are 17, you have to click a button before you can get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that if you're under.
Good.
18. Thank you. Okay, so this movie, Janet. Oh, Bear's like, I am not in your Discord. Please give me the link. Shit. Bear, I hope.
I thought it was a really good movie to watch because of the things that are going on right now in our country.
Well, yeah,
and not just in our country, in other countries, about people losing their jobs and relationships breaking up due to not having enough money, or fibbing, not telling the truth, sneaking around, doing things that you shouldn't be doing. either because you're doing drugs or because you're drinking or because you're cheating. There's just so much bad things happening. And that's one reason why I thought it would be a good movie to watch, because I figured I've seen so many of my guy friends that are going through so many bad things right now. You know, and it makes my life seem better when I'm able to help or get my friends to feel happy for a day, or I don't know. You know, I don't know. It just makes me feel good when I can help someone else, even when I have, you know, a lot of problems myself.
Yeah,
But I think every person does. Every person has problems. But if you can just sit with someone and talk about your problems, just get it off your chest, it makes a big difference. I mean, you may not think so because they're not doing anything. They can't fix your problem for you. But having someone can listen and not judge you and not say, I told you so, or whatever crap. Just listen and know they're still your friend. Even after they hear all this bullshit, they still want to be your friend, because one day it's going to be reversed. You're going to need someone to listen to you. And if you don't ever listen to anyone, why would anyone listen to you? You know? So that's how I look at it.
Our dirty campaigner, Flady, has reposted the link into the chat. For those that do not have their heroic book yet, thank you, Flady.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I'm looking forward to that. This movie wasn't bad. This is not a bad film. It's just not a movie that I would have normally been like, hey, let's watch this with friends. Not exactly my first go-to. I would have probably rather picked something from like the Riff Tracks library and gone there. I think I can stream that. I think I can put that in Discord. I've got some really good Riff Tracks movies, but this movie's all right. The last half of the movie really worked for me. The first half of the movie was boring, slow, and I really did not like the main character. I still don't like him too much at the end of the film, but at least he's got an understanding of how to make things work. I don't know, like if at the end of the film, like there was like they were all offered jobs as like the Scottish version of the Chippendales or what. I don't think that really happened. I think what just happened is that, like they just roll credits and this movie ends. However, there is a series on this movie now. There's a series of
I never watched the series, so
you have or no?
No, never watched it. To me, you know, why would I want to add to that? To me, they were successful by just finishing and doing the full Monty. That was what the story was about, and I just didn't see how they could make a series out of that. What if they keep stripping? Then that wasn't the reason why they did it. You see what I mean? So I wasn't going to watch anything that I thought was going to add to that.
You could be like every 20-year-old girl I know. Oh, I'm just doing it to get through med school. And 10 years later, she's still there. Tuesday nights, 2 for 2 on the dance.
Well, it's just like I've said many times before too. If you want to quit drinking, you gotta let go of your friends that drink all the time. I mean, that's the only way you're gonna be able to do it. Quitting the smoking, you can't hang around with people that smoke all the time. You got to give yourself space away from people that help you with your bad habit. And if you want to step away from that bad habit, you have to step away from those people for a period of time until you're able to do things on your own, even when you're with them.
I must be different because I quit smoking in the oil field. And there, aside from breaking things and setting things up, there's really not a lot you do when you're in the oil field. So the majority of my time was spent with a monitor or tablet and just kind of like regulating things away from the machine the last couple of years. And the first year I smoked pretty heavily. And then a friend of mine kind of told me, he's like, hey, listen, a lot of these guys don't like you. I mean, most of them don't really care that you're, they don't care where you're from, but you don't value the life here. And so they don't have a very big, give a shit about your life either. But if you smoke all the time like you're doing, you're going to die. And they'll be like, fuck that pendejo. And you'll be like, okay. And he's like, seriously, you want to piss him off? I mean, you seem like the type that lives in spite pretty well. I'm like, sure, let's go for it. What do I got to do? He's like, quit smoking. You'll be healthier. You'll be able to do stuff, and you'll be surprised. I'm like, okay, cool. So I pretty much quit smoking right then and there. I still pick up a smoke like every what 3 to 5 months at most.
Yeah, I quit smoking a long, long, long time ago, and I never thought cigarette smoke smells bad.
Mm-mm.
You know, I still don't. I think cigars smell really good. I think pipes smell good. The only thing that I think stinks is ashtrays.
Hello,
You know,
Pinochet's helicopter tours. This
so
man is a Chad. This guy is a Chad beyond level. I mean, look at that name. Pinochet's helicopter tours. I love it. Sorry. I used to
so
love it, but
what?
I quit just so I could be healthier. And the people I had to work around, I'm like, I'm going to quit smoking just to piss you off. I'll be here in 5 years.
So
So,
what rating would you give this movie?
ooh. Well, it's not a bad film, all in all. The
Hmm.
acting pretty all right. The script is very weak in the front. I just have to say that if you want to watch a movie about male strippers, Magic Mike might do it for you a little better. Uh,
Well, this isn't really about strippers. See, that's
oh,
the thing tell people. This isn't a movie about strippers. It's about some friends that need money that decide to strip to try to make a few bucks. That's
I
all
think
it is.
I
They're
think that's
not
how the prequel.
professionals. You can tell by looking at them.
That's how the prequel to Magic Mike started off too. I think. Um,
No,
the
Magic
prequel,
Mike was a troupe of strippers, and they recruited a young guy
yeah.
to be a stripper. That
But
they were all strippers. That's what
so
they did professionally.
there's a prequel story somewhere, and George Lucas will write it, and we'll see it in 20 years. But
Well, the thing is that I'm going to give this a score of 8, 80% or 8 stars, basically, because I think it's got a great. I think the story is a good story for all the characters that they evolve throughout the movie. They start out on the worst end and they end up on the good end. They all learned something throughout the film.
yeah,
I thought the director did a great job at showing us what it was like in a time where a lot of people had lost their jobs and the economy wasn't very good. And everybody was struggling because there was a lot of people that didn't have, money. They didn't have an income. Just normal people, I'm not talking about people that were lawyers and doctors and things like that. This was the middle class people. It's basically that this movie focused on, and it gave you the point of view of men. Okay, people get so sick. I do as a woman. I just see nothing but women's problems all the time. Women. I'm a woman. I don't want to hear about women's problems. I want to see somebody solve their problems, somebody achieve their goals. And I like stories about guys, and I like stories about men that are able to work together to accomplish something. I don't know. I don't know why that appeals to me, but even like the Ghostbusters, it was almost all guys. And then you had one attractive woman that was being possessed by ghosts. But the thing is, it was about bonding between men and working together to achieve a goal. And I think that we don't have enough of that today in today's movies. I don't see hardly anything like that. Everything is based on, oh, women can kick ass, women can do everything. All the women in Marvel, they don't even need men. They can make their own babies. They can do everything they want. It's just ridiculous and ruins my point of view on movies, because you need men. You need men that are real men that aren't afraid to be men, and but they're not afraid to also show that they're not perfect. And I like that. I think that's closer to reality, and I wish we could see more movies like that, because people need to realize that everyone doesn't get a trophy. That real life has consequences, and if you make stupid decisions, you're going to end up with some stupid thing happening to you. And you have to work past your mistakes to win, to achieve your goals. And I just wish they'd make more movies with that view, for everyone. And that a man, like the women that were in this movie, I thought played well. They did a good job at showing what real women could be like. Like you had the wife of the gentleman, I think her name was Helen, and she was like making his lunch. So she was a good wife. I mean, she kept the house clean and she was there every day while he went to work. But when she found out that 6 months had went by and he didn't tell her anything about what was going on, and they came and they repossessed everything, they took the house and stuff, she left him. She decided to get a divorce because to her, he didn't care enough about her to even tell her the truth about what was going on in their lives and how it had affected her. Because she could have got a part-time job. She could have done a lot of things, but he didn't even give her the opportunity to do that because he didn't care enough to be honest with her from the beginning. Right? Mm-hmm. And so that was a good character arc. And then you had the other woman that had a job. She was working and her husband didn't have work. He'd lost his job at the steel mill, but she was still working more hours, which the husband probably was depressed about because he would go in there and see her talking to other employees that were men. And all he could think about was that she's going to leave him for someone else, that type of thing. But instead of telling her, I love you and I don't want to lose you, what can I do? You know, see, that type of thing. He just turned his back on her, you know, like when he'd kiss her and they'd make out and then he would just roll over. And she was like going, what's wrong with me? You know, why is he attracted to me? She's putting it all on herself when it was all him, but she didn't know that because he wouldn't tell her nothing. See, that's what I'm saying. Communication breaks down and it breaks the relationships. I just love that about this movie. To me, it was I know I do that all the time with all these movies, but the thing is, you can learn stories because you got to remember a person who sits down and writes a script, they're telling you a story and they're putting it in a form to where it can be put on film. So they give the actions and the words that the people are going to say and the environment that it's going to be set in. So, and then you get a director that's going to direct the actors to portray whatever characters that you're going to see on screen. So, and then they add music and things like that, and it makes it more dramatic, or it makes it more romantic, or more scary, or whatever it is that they're trying to whatever they're trying to tell you or show you to come to life. And to me, I thought the director did a phenomenal job at showing you what it was like to go without a work for a long period of time and how boring it was and how mundane it was. And that the longer you went without a job, the more depressed you became because you felt worthless, basically. And I thought they did a great job. I thought all the actors portrayed people trapped, you know, in a environment that they didn't know how to get out of. But what was great about it is all the women in this movie, almost every one of them, were very supporting. Horace, the black gentleman that joined them as a stripper, right? When they needed someone as an audience, he got his mom and his sister and his niece and one of their friends to come and sit there. That's supportive. You know, very supportive. So he did have a supportive environment because the women were willing to come and watch a bunch of dorky guys take off their clothes in front of them to see whether or not they'd be able to do this dance. So the thing is they were supportive of him. And then you had Dave's wife. She was very supportive of him finally, when he finally told her the truth. But all along she kept saying, what's wrong, Dave? You know, you can tell me. And she kept trying to get him to tell her because she loved him and she just wanted him to be honest with her so she could try to help him, but he didn't want to tell her. And to me, that showed how hard it is for men to share their feelings because they feel less manly or whatever the reason is. But I thought all of the character arcs were really good. So that's why I thought the movie was good. I thought the score was good. The music was great. The story was very good. Yes, it was a little slow burning at the beginning, like the first 20 minutes. It took a long time to build up the characters. They could have added 2 more characters stories, which they didn't. You know, they put more information in to what was going on in their lives instead of dragging out the whole thing with the son and the dad, because they didn't need to have all that open air basically because we already got the gist of the idea of what was going on with him. So they didn't need to waste that much airtime on that, and they could have filled it in with something more. It didn't really start picking up until Dave and him saved the young guy from, when he gets the car started for him.
Yes.
Realized that he was going to put the exhaust in there and he was trying to kill himself until they start to leave, and he realized he saw all the smoke inside of the vehicle, and he ran back and he pulled him out, threw him on the ground, and then he got pissed off, when he realized his friend was trying to kill himself, and then he picked him up and he shoved him back in the car because it made him angry. And that's when the guy was like, he started fighting, trying to get out because he didn't want to die. So it was a good thing. I mean, the whole thing was a learning experience, and it showed the guy that wanted to kill himself, thinking his life was worthless, that he had someone that cared enough about him to save him. Right. So there was just a bunch of good character arcs in there, very good stories in there about bonding between men, and then how important it is for people, everyday people, to have someone to confide in, and why that's important. Because all of this stuff that's been going on with COVID and thing has separated so many people and so many families, and so many people died by themselves because they weren't allowed to be with anyone else. So we should cherish the moments that we get to be with everyone, even if it's for 15 minutes a week or whatever it is. Focus on it. If you're going to see your dad at the nursing home, or your mom, or whatever it is, don't sit there on your phone the whole time. Sit there and talk to him. Have a conversation. Make it meaningful.
If you guys have your thoughts in this movie and you want to talk about it, you want to give your scores, pop them up. I'm going to read them. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But there, I gave you my reasons why I'm giving it an 8, because I really thought, it was very slow in the beginning, and there was a few little things that I would have made a little different, but the overall story that it told and showed us, and it had a great ending because they achieved their goal. And then you don't see any junk or anything. All you see them is their little butts, and they're holding their hats up in the air in front of a bunch of cheering women that are having the time of their life, getting to see these guys do the full Monty. And I just thought it was a great ending.
Well, Grumpy Old Ninja says, I too give the full Monty an 8 out of 10, because the movie's about regular people finding a way to make ends meet in a funny way. Mm-hmm. And I can see that value. I just wouldn't rate it so high because of that. And I think the crime is the opening act. It's just really, really slow. That's the only real problem I have with this movie. I didn't realize that Alan Rickman was offered the role of Geralt, which was the best buddy, the fat guy. And Danny Boyle was offered the chance to direct the movie, but he was like, this script sucks. He turned it down. Was not impressed with the story at all, says the IMDb trivia. Now,
yeah,
funny because there's this movie was set to face off against the Titanic at the Oscars later on, and it's kind of interesting how that happened. Tom Wilkinson was supposed to play the part of Lovejoy in Titanic, but he chose to play Geralt in this film instead. The two movies competed for Academy Awards at Best Picture and Best Director next year, which I thought was pretty impressive. This movie's not bad. It's just not in my I got to see this again. It's not No Country for Old Men. Okay. But good.
Yeah, because it was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. Seriously though, I rate the film an 80%. It ain't no Uncle Buck redemption arc, but it shows an average Joe going to their limits and succeeding regardless of how life throws at him. And it wasn't as glamorous, but it shows what a man can do when he knows his limitations. A man's got to know his limitations. Okay. It's normal. This is normal Britain. This is kind of like, what you see when you pull into Portsmouth, or if you go up into, Newcastle on Tyne. It's like that. Yeah. This is a 5.5 or 6, says Flady. It's a fun popcorn movie. I'll rate it a little higher than that. I'm going to give it a 61 out of 100 because I want to make sure you guys understand. I give it a full 3 out of 5 stars. I don't think it's like a an amazing, this is not Phantom Menace level of like fanaticism. I think this is a good movie, and it's a good way to showcase like what Britain fought through in the 90s as all the crap from the globalist economy started to bleed through, and this is the price we have to pay. You want to have cheaper stuff? You want to have a globalist economy? Well, fine, get rid of your stores, get rid of your pharmaceuticals, get rid of your manufacturing districts, and you are going to be known as a
making things.
What?
Stop making things. It's the fastest way to ruin an economy.
That's the problem that we are living in now in Western society, because we've offloaded those jobs to somebody else who's willing to do it for cheaper. And that's great, but if you value your community so damn much, pay the guy in the steel mill his due to get the steel out of that mill. That's I'm willing to pay extra for quality. I think a lot of us are, and we're willing to like, okay, well, I guess the next couple nights is going to be rotisserie chicken because I want to make sure that I can afford whatever item I need. I really want this AR platform. I really want this AK. I want this Century Arms gun. I want to make sure that people like, little Justin across the northern border, I want to make sure he shits his pants when he thinks about big strapping Texans with throbbing cocks. I want him to shit his pants. I want the old ghost of the Japanese generals to be like, there will be a gun behind every blade of grass. Yeah, I want you to live that fear. That's what I fucking want. That's the America I want. And I think, a lot of us are wanting to have things, and we need to remember, like, well, we have to sacrifice. And that's something a lot of people don't want to do nowadays. They don't want to sacrifice. They want to continue being comfortable. And this movie teaches you.
Well, we've got a government that has been pushing live off of us instead of going out and live on your own.
Oh, yeah. Help is on the way.
If you have a kid that lives with you and you don't teach it to read and write, you don't teach it how to add money up or how to, have a collect money or save money or how to spend money, properly so you can save some of it, you're going to have a person that constantly is broke, that can't keep a job or any of those things. And that's what I'm seeing. We're seeing more and more people like that. And then you also have companies that don't want to pay people, so they hire all part-time employees so they don't have to put benefits out there or anything like that. And then you have them bringing in, I've made a couple videos myself about they don't want to have cashiers. They just say, well, everyone, you're paying $10 for a roast, and you're paying this much for eggs, and you're paying this and that, whatever. And then you got to go and you got to also check yourself out instead of paying that girl or whoever it is or that gentleman as a cashier to check you out, and still pay the same price for the roast and the bread and the eggs or whatever it is you're buying. So basically,
would you like to round up? Would you like to round up and give some money to charity? We've got a charity where like there's puppies with gnats in their eyes and they're feeding on the eyes. So if you give money, we take the gnats out of the puppies' eyes. And once we make the puppies well, then we give it to an orphanage. So there's like family or children. Yeah,
but the sad thing is about that, those commercials and stuff, they're 10 years old, 20 years old. You don't know how old that puppy is.
Remember you.
Yep. Remember, they used to make fun of, what was her name that used to be on that? No, the TV show with Meathead on it.
Oh, All in the Family.
Yeah, okay. You had the daughter that was from All in the Family, and she was in all these commercials for starving children, this, that, and the other. Even South Park makes fun of her. It's sad, because if you really want to help animals, donate a day a week and go to the animal shelter and clean the cages and take the dogs out and brush them, or things like that. Donate a bag of dog food that you buy from, or old blankets from your closet. Actually do something. If you really want to help, that's how you help. Things like that. Instead of getting, oh, well, I'm going to feel good about myself, I'm going to give $10 to this one company that maybe out of your $10, 5 cents goes to them. You see what I mean? So
I miss you, Suzanne. You had wonderful thighs. I love
who?
her thighs. This is
Oh, Suzanne Summers.
this is
Yeah, because she did that
Thigh Master
commercial,
thing.
the Thigh Master.
Yeah, I miss this. This was top. This is like in the
She
early
was dedicated to take good care of herself. That's one of the reasons why she looks so good.
looked
She
good.
took
She
good
looked
care of
great.
herself.
I just wish that she had a better surgeon because this shit looks like a potato off of a fucking
Well, the
elementary
sad
school.
thing is that as women get older, they have people say, "Try this, try that," and they go in and they think that they're gonna get rid of all the wrinkles or whatever else, and
Sorry.
and that's sad. They get talked into it by doctors.
Just
So
follow the science.
and they pay them too.
This is a good movie. If you see this movie available, you've never seen it before, I do recommend watch it.
If you want to try a European movie, something
If you've already seen Snatch and Locked and every other Guy Ritchie film, if you've already seen, if you've already watched really great European films, this is a cute little showcase of what Northern European life. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, UK people. Not everywhere is London. I get it. It's just like you fuckers when you accuse me from Illinois, like we're all there rooting on the Cubs in the middle of this fucking skyscrapers. No, there's like cornfields in Illinois. Like the majority of Illinois is corn. You just see the skyscrapers at 2 points, and that's at Chicago or Shitville, and that's down at East St. Louis where the gunshots are at. So stay out of those two places. Enjoy the corn. I think this movie is a good movie. I just don't think it's a great movie. There's a difference. This is a fine film to watch. This is a good way to showcase what people went through. This is kind of like if there was like
people are still going through. That is one reason why I wanted to watch it.
I'm not saying that we're past that. No, we're not.
Yeah.
But this goes on and on and on. There's a lot of this that goes over and over again, and this movie just kind of showcases it. And I lived that life. I've done things. I worked at a strip club for a little bit because it was 3 miles from mom and dad's house. And then suddenly for that summer while I was working as a lumberyard guy, sliding lumber for like the day shift hours, at night I would get a little bit of sleep, then head over to the strip joint. Star, please come to the main stage. Star. By the way, after 2 weeks of working there, you're done. You're done. You're absolutely like there's no more. I would love to work at a strip joint. I could stare at naked boobs all day. You're done. We have titties in my Discord. You know how often I go there whenever somebody fucking flags me. Bruce, come in here. If you want the titties. My wife is like, you have a titty room? I said, I have a titty room. She's like, you don't go in there? No. If I need something, I go to a Bing or Google search. But my friends they think they know me, so they put things in here like that. And if I like get alerted, like, hey, Bruce, somebody put naked Oompa Loompas in here, and I go in there and I delete naked Oompa Loompas because I don't want to have you guys get challenged and like think I'm into Cthulhu shit or whatever. Bruce, no, let's get rid of the Oompa Loompas. Get rid of them.
I posted in there.
You did, but I kept it because it was that girl that I can't stand from Twilight, and I'm like,
I just wanted to see what you guys thought about a woman trying to be sexy, but dressing as a guy.
She still looks like she's 12, but now she's dressing like a guy.
Yeah, she's dressing like a boy. She looks like a little boy.
A little boy. Yeah.
So yeah, it's sad, but
nothing alerts the optics unless it's got a C cup or larger. That's all there is. I've got a filter. Like I love you, B cups and A cups, you littlest angels. God bless you. But no, unless you've got like something that at least fits my flip top mouth, it's not going to register. It's like I need to pay attention to boobs. No. This is a very good movie. If you want to see some culture, if you want to see something where people had like everything they wanted, and then they just like gave it away. And it shows you that the start of the movie. It gives you like a 4-minute little reel of like, come enjoy Sheffield. This is a great town. We're on the move. We've got affordable housing, jobs. It's good. It hits too close to home for me because I'm from Decatur.
Mm-hmm.
And Decatur had Borg Warner, Zexel, we had Mueller's, we had Burke's Pumps, we had all these factories. We had, at the start of the 1900s, we had over 100 factories in the entire city. And by the 1980s, there was Caterpillar, Mueller's, Borg Warner, and like 2 others left. And everything else was like getting bricked up, boarded up, and they were moving the center of town from the downtown, which I wanted to be there, and they moved it to the intersection of 2 highways where the crossroad was 51 and 121. I really didn't like that, but whatever. It's how things evolve. This movie shows you that your comfortable life will not be comfortable for as long as you want it to be. It's good. It's got good character arcs in it. The script is even good. It's just very slow. And the first act of this movie is murderously just you're gonna find like if you're like me and your hand gets twitchy and starts reaching for the mouse, you're gonna find like, oh, I found a Farsi captions enabled Cobra from 1986 was still Sly Stallone and Brigitte Nelson. Ooh, that sounds better. And you'll be watching Canon Film Classics if you have the chance, because this movie, the first half of it will just it's a hard, rough watch.
That's right. I kept saying, God, I hope you guys can just make it to the part where it starts getting good, where it's more interesting. Yeah. But that's the only thing that I really didn't like about the movie myself. It's the fact that the director let it be such a slow burn to me, and I don't really like that in some aspects of a movie. Especially if it's not a horror movie. Yeah. Horror movies, you need a little bit of a slow burn to get you waiting for something to happen, and you don't need it in this type of a drama. Mm-hmm.
The Crafting Gamer says, you mean to tell me Bruce risked that Children of the Corn moment? I lived in the middle of a cornfield. I don't know how else I could put this to you. When you go to Latham, Illinois, you're surrounded by corn and scarecrows. There's nothing else, my friend. There's the sound of a distant semi-truck, which if you're hitchhiking can take you far away from corn. Yeah. Children of Corn, still a scary concept for some people. For Grumpy, it sure is. I like this movie. It's a very it's too slow of a burn for me to say I recommend it highly, but if it's on, watch it. It might impress you enough to where you want to see it a second time. I won't, but it's enjoyable to the point where you can see a good dad try to do something good. Do I appreciate the fact that he drug his son throughout the entire movie, and the kid's there at the end watching all 6 men show their stuff? No, I really didn't need to think that. Like,
he didn't go out there with him. Remember, he was backstage.
He was backstage, but he was involved with about every step of the way. And I can appreciate a dad that wants to get his son involved on business. Like my boss drug his son out when the son was gave him a shovel and said, "This is."
Well, I wouldn't say that was going to be his family business.
No, the son.
Well, I guess your family jewels are your business. So
yeah,
but in a way, that is right.
he drugged the son around to see the family business.
Yeah,
and I didn't appreciate the kid being like, the kid should have been more of a background character, or more like away from like all the dancing dudes, because this movie isn't like a pedo alert. There's no cheese pizza here.
Now, if they had made the son a little older, like 13,
that would have been okay. I don't feel the kid was old.
So
like 11.
I'm just saying something like that would have made it a little better. Is if they were to make it again or try to rewrite the story or whatever, I would want the son to be a little older. So
I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is something that we need to keep in mind for us people that are wired on Canon film classics. Films from the UK are not as fast paced or as frantic as Hollywood.
Mm-mm.
Now, next week, I don't know when or how we're going to record it, but next week I have planned, and that's always a fun thing. What do you have plans for, Bruce?
Mhm.
I want to talk about Star Trek Continues. We've
Yes.
already watched all 11 episodes,
Mhm.
and it is glorious. We will be talking about that either Sunday or Monday. Right now, it's tentative for 7:30 p.m. Probably not going to happen at that time. Janet and I will make amends and let you guys know when we will turn on the cameras ahead of schedule because my schedule changes. And I know for the first week of this job, I work from like 1 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday.
Mhm.
It will make Bruce a very tired boy, but there is a bed in that room over there, and I'll be happy. And I will get my sleep, and then I'll show up on Saturday and run a game. That's the plan. Sunday, we're going to try to figure out how to do this stream and all following streams. We
Yeah,
don't
and
really,
as of right now, I won't be putting any videos of any kind, any posts or live streams at all on my YouTube channel. So I don't have that ability. So
that's understandable. And we might be trying out a new streaming service to replace StreamYard because StreamYard's kind of costly, and we found another one that does 1080p at the free level.
mhm.
So we're going to
We're
be able to
making
do
some
that better.
changes, whether
Yeah.
we want to or not. But that's just the way it is, you know. You want to do things.
We still have a game Saturday.
Mhm.
Saturdays aren't changing. I work from Monday through Friday.
Yes.
From Friday night when I get home, I will find my pillow because I will be tired, and I'll go, and that will be it.
Mhm.
And then I'll wake up Saturday morning, go take care of laundry, and then come back and set up everything. That's just how that's going to be.
Mhm.
But I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But next week we talk about Star Trek Continues.
Mhm.
Janet, are you going full Rumble?
Well, if I could get some of my, you know, my people following me on YouTube to go over to Rumble, I would. And then I would just do X and Rumble is what I'd be focused on. And then I would just put my chicken videos and stuff on my YouTube channel. So that would be really good. That would let, you know, YouTube, if everyone could do that, YouTube wouldn't be such buttheads.
Yeah.
The fact that they gave me a strike because I showed some stuff from Tucker's interview with the Surgeon General of Florida when he was talking about the DNA and the RNA or whatever, that kind of stuff, the medical stuff. I got a strike for medical misinformation or something like that. The thing is that the actual interview that we put on the show is still up on Tucker's channel, but he's, you know, he's famous, so he's making lots of money. They're gonna leave that up, but they took my little channel down for whatever the 35 views or whatever it was. I just think I don't understand that. And then there's no way for me to say, how come they can have that up there? It's been up for 3 weeks and I have it up for 24 hours and you guys take it down. So
We're going to be doing more and more stuff on Rumble. We'll be focusing a lot more things on Rumble that are politically focused. YouTube is making it to where I don't really want to stream on YouTube if I talk about things because I did a stream on Sunday and I got some little hater crap in my my bonnet, and I'm like, oh look, that's cute, and I just shrugged my shoulders and I went about my business. But the fact that they can like say misinformation, or if you talk about the January 6th insurrection or something, when you're not using the newspeak they want you to use, you're going to get strikes. You're going to get deplatformed. And I really, you know, I can use this platform without giving YouTube what they want. I can game on here, but I will be more than happy to do mainstreams on Rumble. And the thing is as a host, you can do these really cool things. Like, I'm just gonna So
What's so sad is I could take my shirt off and flop around, okay, and that'd be all right. That even they don't care if kids even see that.
no,
But I talk about something that's factual, and it's the Surgeon General of Florida, an interview that he's giving on a famous guy's TV show, and we talk about that and show a little bit of that, and I lose my channel. You know, I lose the right to use my channel because of it. I just don't get
it. It sucks, Janet. I didn't mean to step on you.
That's okay. I just doesn't understand. I just don't understand it.
Well, on the StreamYard side, just to show everybody what some of you might not know, because you might not do StreamYard, you might not even stream. You might just be a chat person, and that's cool. But up here, you can click things, and you are live, and you can remove it, and you can do that for all of these. Remove it, and you can edit. You know, you can shut this shit down. And so, like what our friends do at Dick's Division, Comics Division, he'll be running a stream, and he'll just disconnect YouTube. Like, all right, we're done. You know, we can cuss now. We can talk about, like, you know, sticking our dick in a donkey or whatever the fuck we want to. And that's the wonderful thing about, you know, the streaming platform is when you get a host platform like this, you can just be like, all right, well, here comes the spice. So let's bail out of fucking Kittyville and wrap yourself in like bubble wrap. We're done. And yeah, the Flady just got a text. Our dirty campaigner Flady just gets a text. Our handlers do not approve of this conversation. And all of this it's all about message. And the Bolsheviks, they want to close the openness of the interwebs. The third burglars are bound by their own rules and limitations. That's completely illegitimate. It's terrible that these people can have free speech. It's terrible that they can show shelves on and you know, firearms and weapons of war like that. You know, how dare they use these things? I need to go wear my Austin Powers James Bond villain bad guy suit now and make sure my head is cleanly shaven because I'm about to speak in front of the heads of state in Spain. And then we're going to dine on some fine cow and tell you all to eat sea bugs. So, Mage's Musings asks, have you challenged their strike? That's
yes,
absolutely gay and retarded.
And they didn't give me any. I had a thing where I had posted a video of a 7-minute video of Comet Ping Pong about the Podesta emails with Hillary and all that. I posted that, and they told me that was cyberbullying. So they made me take that down. I had to take some tests about how not to cyberbully people. Okay, and I did that, and I was supposed to have that taken away on the 7th. If I had made it to the 7th, then I wouldn't be getting another strike. But you know, I didn't think that someone that was a surgeon general talking about something that they're doing in their state, they're going to not let people do that in their state. Then how can it be misinformation? It just doesn't make any sense. And the fact that it's still up on Tucker's channel after 3 weeks, to me, that seems like, okay, well, if he didn't get in trouble or anything and it's still up there, then why can't I have it on my show? You know, it just is, I don't know. I'm not a professional, you know, I'm just doing it because to me, it's important that people find out about things and then let them research it for themselves so they can make good decisions for themselves. But apparently, you know, you can't say the P word. You can't say a lot of things. You have to say minor attracted persons and all these different little dumb things that they think are important because kids don't matter. You know, it's their urges that matter more. And the fact that I can show my tits, but I can't talk about something that's facts. You know, it's like, I don't know. I don't get it. So I'm just showing cleavage and jiggling a little now since since that's all I'm allowed to do. You know what I mean? I can't even post anything at all. So it's like, oh, well, you know, they don't want me on here. So if I can get people that do like me to follow me somewhere else, that's where I'll definitely go. Somewhere I'm wanted.
Yep, those look good there, Grumpy. Thank you, sir. I believe for this evening, we've kind of reached the end of the the topic of conversation.
Yeah, my name. Wait a minute. My name on Rumble is Janet's Universe.
Yeah, Janet's Universe
over
is
there.
her name over there. So that's her name. I was just going to go over to mine and just make sure, but I thought Grumpy got it right, so I recognize that pattern there.
So. But if we all work together and support each other, like every time Wes has lost his channel, I went and re-followed his new channel, stuff like that. But the bad thing is that I really don't want to lose Janet from Another Planet, because that's me. My real name is Janet, and I don't want to lose that and have to start off with something else like Jane of the Jungle or something. I don't know. If they're going to be this way, and if I can get everybody that likes me to leave and go over there instead, or just come on his channel to see my chickens or whatever, then I could do that. But I just think it's just terrible. I just think it's not fair. It's totally biased that, one person can't say something, but that person can say something simply because they have more followers or whatever. Or they have I'm just independent. I believe in what's best for our country, period. What's best for people, better decisions, making your own money and getting to keep it, that type of stuff. But apparently they think I should make my whole check and hand it out to other people that didn't work, that kind of stuff. That's their point of view. Yeah. And I don't agree with it. No. Hi, Summer. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, she's my friend on X.
Okay. We're gonna be going because we've hit the end of our conversation, and not that I don't want to sit out and hang with good people, but yeah, I there are some other good streams out there, and I do want you guys, if you're going to be up for a while, we've got our friend Clobby is doing stuff. Mm-hmm. He's live. I love Clobby, and I love seeing him succeed. We had some good friends of ours go over to his channel. So if you could just type in Bruce and Janet raid, or a girl, a guy in a movie raid, or whatever, but there is a link right here. Mm-hmm. Go click on that. Join up with Clobbering Times. He's got his panel there. And it looks like he's got it might just be him with Mark C. And so go in there, talk with them, and they show some really good stuff. They talk about comics. Mm-hmm. And Clobby's
Star Trek.
Lots of Star Trek. That's more with Rachel.
But, yeah, on Saturday.
But yeah, he does a great stream on Monday, and on Thursday he has the clubhouse open with Mark and Rachel as well. And Mark gets to show off his toys more on Thursday. But go support Clobbering Times. This guy, he's a Chad. He's a hell of a guy.
He owned his own comic book shop.
And I recommend everybody subscribe to him if you've got a YouTube account, because it's just going to help him out. But the guy, he's got good ideas. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's not a young kid, okay? He's been around the block once. So he knows how things are. He knows good scripting. He knows how good story beats go. I recommend everybody in here subscribe to him, because he is a fantastic man. For the end of the night, my biggest thanks go out to Hungar the Starvarian for being a continuing channel member, and for my friend Flady, the Dirty Campaigner, because Flady, you don't have to do it, but man, I really appreciate it. He doesn't have a shop anymore, but is he still in Louisiana?
Yes.
Okay. He's in Louisiana.
Used to have a shop, because Nerdrotic talks about how he worked in a comic book shop. Well, Clobby owned his own. Yeah. So he's very knowledgeable about almost anything you can think of when it comes to comic books, and the artists and the cartoonists and the writers. So that's why, if you really love comics and you want to learn something about comics, Clobby's the one to follow.
Yeah, I go to him for my Kirby history.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely.
Everyone, thank you for being here tonight.
Yes, thank you.
We will be here again, next weekend at some point, we'll be doing the stream for Star Trek Continues.
Mhm.
Saturday of this coming week, it'll be the normal game stream. So don't worry, Plady and Six Nations.
And there won't be a shit show on Friday since I can't use my channel. So,
Well, wait, we can use your Rumble.
Oh, that's right. I guess there won't be one on YouTube.
Wait,
there won't be one on YouTube.
Give me spicy. Come on.
Sorry. What I meant is there won't be one on YouTube. There'll
Okay.
be nothing on YouTube at all.
Okay.
On my part of it, for sure.
Well, we'll look forward to it. Thank you so much for being here, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Have a good night.